3, 2, 1. Gonna do a secondary clap in 3, 2, 1. Very important stuff, guys. Very important to get that initial clap and second one just in case that first one didn't come through very good. But yeah, welcome back to Stand Up In It, the podcast. I am your host, Robert, and it's time once more to step onto my lovely little throne I've carved out for myself to give you guys an amazing guest, one of my favorites I've had on so far. He's definitely a character. I think he has the best intentions, though, and he makes sure to bring his most, just pure and kind of authentic version of himself he's feeling that day, So, give a round of applause to my guest of the episode, me. Hell yeah, it's happening. SOLO-SODE 2 is in effect. You're in it. You're in it right now. And if you clicked on it, it's obvious you're in it. So maybe that intro was a little not thought out. But when is anything I ever do properly thought out? You know what I mean? Let's not dig into that bag of bolts right now. No, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Where was I wanting to jump on? This is actually kind of a crazy thing I was just watching. First SOLO-SODE, I start with George Lopez and Bill Cosby being what he is. No, that wasn't an Islam. But today we're starting with a little different of a topic, a little bit of a deeper cut. Maybe not a deeper cut, but not everybody likes people. Mostly everybody likes dogs. So, yeah, that's where we're going today. So I was scrolling through the reels and the short form content sphere earlier, and I was on Snapchat doing it because I was waiting for somebody to text me back. That's it's the best way to kill time, waiting for someone to text you back. You just get lost in a doom scroll pit until you see their little name icon pop down. But I was waiting on that, and I clicked on this story about, I don't even remember what the clip thumbnail was, but I remember it hooked me. It hooked me. Maybe it was like, you'll never believe what she did. Something along those lines, kind of mystique in a sense. So I start watching this story, and it's about this Gumbly, I don't know. That was her last name though. And she was from Madison County, Florida. And this chick, she was attractive. She was very pretty. She did Fansly though, and she had a social media following of 15,000 people, and it was kind of one of this is literally kind of verbatim of the story, actually. Hips kind of hurting. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to get comfy. I'm not wearing matching socks here, but what we're not going to do is pick on me for not wearing matching socks, because they're both black, so it's not like you can even tell from the bottom. Oh, no, you shouldn't. I don't think you can. But she lived in or was from Madison County, Florida, and she had just a normal social media account, kind of, trend content and dance videos and bathing suit, get ready with me or some shit like that. Just normal girl social media content, I guess, for, female influencers. And I don't mean normal in the sense of that's what's socially acceptable. I mean normal in the sense of that's what the fuck everybody's doing. Feel me? So don't mince my words. But pretty crazy thing that happened here. She was doing all that content stuff, and I guess one thing I forgot to add to the normalcy of her content was she posted dogs, like her dogs specifically. She was a very big like dog fan. Maybe a little too much of a dog fan, but we'll get into that. So yeah, that's what her social media consisted of. Just a bunch of like content normal you would see in dog videos, her own dogs. And it wasn't anything peculiar. It was just something that would blend into the normal shit you see, you know. And she would like, you know, market her, sell herself to make her content work the way it works. And there was an anonymous tipper at this point. I can't remember the dates, but I think it was like 2024, 2025, March 21st, 2025, I believe. Maybe March 21st, 2026. She was arrested and taken to jail, and she was bailed out for $10,000. And then this shit went to trial. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So somebody called in an anonymous tip that this girl was doing sketchy shit online, and somebody needed to keep an eye on her ass because it's teetering the line, and it's not even teetering it at this point. It's dancing all over it, jumping back and forth across it and over it, and then burning it to a crisp shit. So yeah, he's like this anonymous tipper. Apparently, I guess it was a guy. That's the way they kept saying it was he. Or maybe they said they, I don't know. But he sent the police department of, I guess, this county in Florida pictures of her, I guess, her more provocative social media accounts. And it was a video. I think the video was her aiming the camera down at the ground like this outside in her yard at her dog, and the dog was like barking and jumping up at her like any normal dog in a, you know, yard with their owner would. And like that was under the video post was a caption saying say everyone say hello to our new member of the family. So this was her third dog that she had gotten, and this was only 8 days before her arrest. She had already had 2 more dogs previous to this, or prior to this. But when the post was made, her ex-boyfriend reposted it and captioned on the repost, "You're disgusting, ... All right, maybe it's just a period. Maybe it was just a dot, a singular dot, even more minuscule, or even more ominous. And the lady, I guess she kind of figured out something because homeboy deleted it. Her ex deleted it. But this anonymous tipper screen grabbed a picture of it, the post, before the shit got taken down. Same with the original post. That one got screenshotted by the tipster as well. And from that point, the police department starts investigating her. And let's be honest, by investigating, what they mean is they bought a subscription to her Fansly account so that they could go through it. Because there's no way a fucking police department in Florida has like maybe the budget or maybe the gumption to reach out to to reach out to Fansly and be like, hey, can we see this person's media on their account? Trying to make sure they're not diddling dogs here. Maybe they could have. Maybe they could have with like a warrant, but maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they just wanted to buy the subscription. But let's be honest, that when they say they were investigating her social media postings, sure, they went and they looked at her normal pages, but they bought the subscription. They got to have had, like, they must have bought the subscription. Because there was no point in the story where they go, this police department decided to get a warrant to access said account on Fansly. Like, nothing like it. Said that they investigated her social media posts and content. They bought the subscription. Had to have. But I guess nothing really came of that until the tipster reached back out and... Damn, is this the way it played out? Maybe it didn't shake out this way, but I'm going from literally just kind of a video and me looking it up after watching the video. But I'm pretty sure the tipster got a hold of a clip, and it was the first clip that really sparked the, oh shit, this is actually happening to these poor animals. It was a video, I believe, from 2021, and it wasn't of any of the 3 dogs that she had already owned. It was a previous dog she had owned, apparently, called Rosie. And Rosie was not a Chihuahua like the other 3 dogs were. She was apparently a Labrador. So this 2021 video that surfaced or was sourced somehow, the video, they didn't really go into too descriptive, but I mean, obviously the details were, there was enough details explained for you to piece together that there was some sort of sexual interaction happening between her and this dog, her dog Rosie. And that was the first video. Apparently this guy accessed her account or reached out to her account, separate person, but this was the first person that reached out to her on her Snapchat to buy content. And the content he asked for, I'm assuming, or maybe she was like, hey, do you want to watch me do sex stuff to my dog? I don't fucking know. Didn't get into that part, but the point is, he bought a video, the first video of her doing some sort of sexual misconduct with this dog. And that was a part of her soul, if not in an entirety of it, that she sold in the form of this video for $500 fucking dollars. Like, there was like a psychologist that reviewed this case after it happened. Maybe it was like a sex psychologist, maybe, or something like that. Or maybe it was just a guy that, guy or girl, a person. Maybe it was just a doctor that, deals with crazy folks. I don't know. But they kind of did an evaluation based off of like all of her online persona, and then just, I guess, maybe interviews accumulated throughout this whole process. And like started saying like she is prime for like antisocial tendencies. The girl has no, what was it that they said? They said it this way. This girl has no limit when it comes to financial gain. There ain't a fucking thing she wouldn't do for a fucking dollar. And maybe I'm a little too vulgar there about that, but like, is that really what it's come down to, guys? We're out here molesting our fucking pets for $500? What the fuck is even that? Like, it irks my fucking soul. Like, you're telling me that, like, my dad has Frenchies, okay? By no means am I like a fucking pet guy, but they're the most precious, sweet, and innocent, like, just precious sweethearts in the world. Disco. You guys have met Disco. Who in the fuck would want to do something like that to that poor, innocent little boy? Like, and like a Labrador. What the fuck? What's the size of a Labrador? What is that? Like a fucking... When I think Labrador, for some reason, I'm thinking of like what's that movie called? Homeward Bound. For some reason, I think of that dog. Is that a Labrador? Maybe not. Pop in a picture of a Labrador here, for me and post edit if you can, Robert. But yeah, that was the first back in 2021. That was the first real like her posting, or not posting, I guess, her selling this like devious sexual act to people for money. And like, I agree with the psychologist, like truly psychotic like there's no way those are the actions of like a sane, rational person. And like, by no means am I like the guy to step to people's mental down, what's the word I'm getting at here? I am not the person to step to people's mental disabilities or things that they're mentally incapable of processing or, doing. I am by no means a person that like clowns those people, like the crazies. Like I too have been called the crazies, and it doesn't make me want to be anything other than more of the crazies. You feel me? And this isn't a Monday type, like I hate Mondays type of crazy. No, this is the crazies, where your fucking teeth vibrate and you can feel your nails growing and like every molecule in your body wants to explode and do a somersault and fucking cry all at the same time. It feels like the world is ending and every person on the fucking planet is screaming. It's real. So I accentuate that expression of it because it is so real, and I feel like some people are still kind of getting wise to that simple fact. People need help. Simple and plain. And we live in a world today where those people that need that help are either ridiculed to a degree where they feel they must be ashamed and they must hide this true version of themselves that they need to get to a more comfortable stance of living with, because I definitely don't think, and I'm this is on topic here. I'm not like, I don't think I'm getting off topic by any means, because like this, I think this is a very big example of like the mental prognosis of our country, of the world. Like, we are surrounded by technology that is beyond our limits. In most places, beyond our limits, and like we're getting to like, we're in the 21st century, guys. There is no fucking way that we're on the moon and people are still fucking animals. Like, what? I don't know. And I swear to God, if somebody comes out and goes, that's just a sexuality preference. No, you're sick. You're burning, actually. You're burning. Shout out to you, Shy. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about right now. We were talking about it earlier. People that be saying that, they're fucking burning. A sexuality? What the fuck? What the fuck is even that? All right, that might have been the third time I've said that, and the only reason I'm saying it is because it sounds just like Logic in the skit from Village Slum on No Pressure. Yes. No, it's not No Pressure. What the fuck is wrong with me? Not No Pressure. No Pressure was the Orange album. I'm talking about. Get it out. Come on. Not Vinyl Days. Village Slum. It is literally. I listen to it all the time. Not College. Oh, College Park. Yeah, College Park. That album. What the fuck is even that? I'm not smoking some shit called Brain Rape. What the fuck is even that? Like, Logic. Come on. I'm tagging you in it, bro. If you hear that bit, it's right on the fucking money. Play with me if you want. It's right on the motherfucking money. Lovely song, by the way. I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. Another thing tying into mental health. Fuck, we might have like an overlying theme for this episode. Village Slum, man. I look at my mom, I look at my dad, and see how drugs and alcohol took away everything they had, and it makes me sad. I found a balance, but I feel bad. I didn't drink till I was 27. I didn't drink till I was 27. Then I did from then. Then I did from there. I don't know. You get the point. Everybody's got their story to tell. But whatever the fuck you go through, whatever the fuck you experience in a day-to-day, you know, I don't think that should chalk up it being okay or making that a reasonable excuse to, like, sexually assault people and, like, not people, animals, like innocent creatures that can't even, like, voice. They have no voice to speak out against the wrongdoings that happen to them. And some victims also have no fucking voice to speak out against the wrongdoings that have been done to them. Like, it's just so sick to me to think that, like, this, same thing with, like, the pedos. Like, to think you look at this innocent, beautiful little creature, this little, like, ball of joy that literally was just brought into this world and it is scared. Like, it is this living, breathing thing's first time existing, and you're gonna come into that situation, that real situation, that reality to a child, and snatch that innocence away. Come to a baby dog, a baby goat, for my Middle Eastern brothers out there. Whatever the fuck. You know what I'm getting at? It's just like to look at something so pure and innocent and go, I want to violate that thing. Like, one more time. What the fuck is even that? Like, I found a balance, but I feel bad. Like, I too have had my days of sexual deviancy. I will not shy away from that. I've hurt people, and no, not on that level. I am not a raper. I am not a raper. What the fuck is that from? Oh, Step Brothers. I'm not a raper. But no, in the sense of emotional turmoil, baggage, cheating, lying, not really stealing. No. But you know, I've hurt my fair share of people, and I was talking to Shy earlier today about it, actually. Shout out to you, girl, because you know you've been helping me just get through some real shit. But sorry, I had to move my hand. If you heard that, my bad. But like, please don't tell me I lost my train of thought. I did not. We're talking about sexual misconduct and looking at an innocent thing and just going, I want to violate that. Damn. I literally would love to pause it, play it back right now, and just see where the fuck I am, so I don't lose it. But it's fine. We'll find our footing again. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good today, actually. But no, I had a very long, in-depth conversation with her today. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, episode 4, Bust Booty. Come on, check it out. But no, we got into a really deep cut about like religion and like sex, in the sense of like I don't know why, but maybe it's just because of like maybe my childhood trauma or you know maybe her speaking on some of hers maybe, but we got on the topic of sex in the home and like how important it is to like educate your children properly, you know, like in the sense that like people feel that talking about sex regularly or in like a normal casual sense of conversation with like your children or in the family household, and like letting that interweave itself into like the dynamic of conversation, comfortable conversation, how doing that and making it a more proactive like attempt from parents in society today to do that with their children can like dramatically change, in my opinion, change the way that the next few generations come out sexually, if that makes sense. Like, but the parents got to be educated, and I think that was the part that fucked me up talking about it with her today. It was just because it is so true, and I find it funny. I think Shane Gillis said this, but talking about, or no, maybe it was Dan Soder, but he said, one of them said, you know, like when a comedian tells a joke that you've never heard before, and it's just one of those like, how the fuck did I not think of that? God, that is so funny, but it's staring me right in the face every day. How did I not, see that? And it kind of hit me that way, I guess. In the same sense, like, yes, properly educating your children on like what sex is, not in a fucking Christian concept or like some weird like scientific, like a man has sex with a woman and his sperm fertilizes the egg and that is how a baby is made. Like, motherfuckers don't know what that means, especially at like 5 years old. And like that was something that fucked me up too, was like, yes, is it weird now, or like in society's standards maybe, to think of like a parent sitting down with their child at 5 years old, or younger maybe even, to, like, when it's like a point of like intellectual understanding, like they can acknowledge what you're saying. Like, how do you give that to a 3-year-old? How do you give that to a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old? You know what I mean? I remember finding out about like what sex really was at a young age and how it affected me. Like, I think from such a young age, looking back now, I realized that sex is kind of it's wrapped up in everything. Like, it's a marketing tactic. It's it's like interweaved into like almost every type of TV show or movie. There's talk of sex. There's porn every fucking everywhere. Everyone and their mama is doing OnlyFans now. Like, it is just sex. Boom, 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 boom. Like, it's everywhere. Like, big bright flashing lights on Times Square. Sex. And like, that can be intimidating. I know it was intimidating for me. Like, there's just this big open world of like pleasure and like freedom. It is what it felt like rawest, truest forms, and like being exposed to that at such like a raw age and like a non-filtered way, I guess. I think it really threw like a fucking chink in the motor, because you don't think about kids, or you don't think about things like a normal kid would after there is a before and after, that stripping of innocence first moment, and you don't think like a normal kid does after the fact. There's how you thought before you knew about sex, and then there was how you thought after you knew about sex. And I feel like a lot of people, for most people on average, it's around 12, maybe 13, maybe 10, maybe 11. Like, when you start getting horny, you know what I mean? Your fucking body is like, maybe this is just the teenage boy experience actually, but I talked about it in episode 3. Your fucking knees are rubbing together. You need to get off this bus right now. You know what I mean? And maybe it's the same way for females. I personally can't speak to that. I am a man, but to each is their own. That being said, though, it's just, I think, a very important, all that being said, I think it's a very important thing to, like, vocalize to young children, like, the importance of sex. Because it is important. If people didn't have sex, guess what? Nobody would fucking be here. It would have went Adam, Eve, blank. Like, that would have been it. They would have just been two weirdos in a fucking garden talking to the man, So, I don't know. Like I was being said, okay. Like I was saying, the idea of properly explaining sex to a child, I think it could have revolutionary benefits to society. Like, by no means am I victimizing here or making it seem like it's the victim's fault that they were molested or assaulted. But, like, maybe if children were educated to a certain degree in their basis, to their level of understanding, if they were educated to their level of understanding, when moments or situations presented themselves, like, oh, do you want to come and help Uncle Roger in the basement for a minute? Like, Uncle Roger's kind of been giving weird vibes since he got here. I don't know about that. I feel like that was a fucked up example, but like what I was trying to say is like, you know, I feel like going back to my experience and trying to bridge from that, I don't think children know what's happening to them. Obviously, they're innocent little loving creatures. Like, they don't know what's happening to them when like a sexual act is being forced upon them, so to speak. They don't know what's happening. My dad has said it very well many times, this quote, and I love it because it is so true in the sense that, like, in a child's mind, it's the same way I look at it now ever since he said it to me. But, like, when the lights are off and, you know, you're sitting there in the dark with whoever the fuck, it doesn't matter because it feels good. And he said it differently. I think he said, when the lights are off, when it's dark and it feels good, it doesn't matter. Or something along those lines. Not saying that it's okay, but saying, like, that is something that maybe people say within themselves to, like, I wouldn't say it's okay or make an excuse for it, but, like, to it's right on the tip of my tongue to, like, damn. And then I lost the whole fucking thing. Is that not crazy? It's so much easier to hold conversation when it's not you having to kind of, you know, remember what string you were kind of trying to pull out of that fucking tapestry of life. That might be another fucking golden line for the show. I'm footing the fucking bill here. I loved that SOLO-SODE clip. But, no, like a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old or whatever age I'm trying to elaborate to just pure innocence as a child. They don't know what's happening to them when, like, you know, someone's sitting there touching their penis or rubbing their private parts or, you know, sticking their fingers sticking stuff inside of them. Like, you know, just the wicked ways, you know, people venture into fucking child molestation, whatever the fuck that, you know, is or isn't, whatever you want to define it as. But that being said, like, they don't know what's happening. It's just when the lights are off and, you know, people are doing whatever they're doing to you, like, that's all that matters. You don't care who it is or, like, if it's wrong or not. It's just, like, happening and it feels good. Why would you not want to continue to let that happen, you know? And I don't know. I think sometimes religion gets in the way of proper sex ed. And I don't mean sex ed in the schools. I mean sex ed in the home. You telling me that you are, as a parent, no offense to you guys, but as a parent, you're telling me you're going to depend on the sanctity of a fucking public school or, like, some weird ass, like, Catholic school full of child molesters to educate your baby on, like, proper, like, bedroom etiquette and, like, how to, like, go about sex in a way that doesn't seem so, like, streamlined. Like, that's what sex ed always felt like to me. It felt like this streamlined, scare you out of wanting to do it process. Like, this is what chlamydia looks like. This is what it looks like when, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop trying to scare me away from it. educate me on how to do this shit properly, so I don't get like fucking, I don't die at the age of fucking 20 from AIDS, or fucking my dick falls off because I don't know how to take care of it. Like, people make sex such a taboo topic, and it's been something so heavy on my heart recently. It's kind of why I'm glad I'm on the mic about it, because the shit I was hitting on and that Shy and me were hitting on in this conversation earlier, it's so real. Like, and it's something that, like, probably other people have thought about. It just doesn't really feel like it's been voiced, because I feel like I would have heard somebody saying it. Like, and I don't mean sex ed in the sense of like teacher, like teaching. I mean sex ed in the sense of like, you can walk up to your mom or your dad and you can actively be like, what happens when you come inside of somebody? You know? Why do people like to do stuff with their butt? You know? What is a kink? Like, certain Christian religious folks and certain people, period, are just not comfortable talking about these things, and it needs to be talked about, guys. I cannot stress this enough. This is not something that I think is just like acceptable to me, or like is only makes sense in my perspective of reality. Like, I think this is a rational concept that is like, it's doable on all fronts. Like, all it takes, if a parent or you, if you're listening right now and you're a parent and you're like kind of jiving with what I'm saying and you're like, okay, where the fuck do I start? Like, read the fuck up, watch shit. And I don't mean like porn. I mean like fucking, all right, there's porn, right? And I feel like this is going to sound controversial, but there's porn. And then there's people having sex. Like, two people that love each other and they want to invite you into their love. I think that's a much, much healthier, like, alternative to, like, the porn that we've all been watching for years, you know? Like, is it the most healthiest practice? No. But it's fucking everywhere. Flashing lights, guys. Sex, 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 sex. You know, like, it's just, how can you not think about it? How can you not think about it all the time, you know? And I'm not saying that as, like, you know, a place of insecurity. I'm saying that from a place of, like, fucking relatability. Like, it is a very present thought in the back of many, many men's heads, many teenage boys' heads, many young little boys' heads going, dang, my teacher's got a really jiggly butt. And I can see her bra strap. I kind of don't know how that's making me feel, but I like the way it's making me feel. You know what I mean? And, like, it's everywhere. Like, it's always been a budding thing. From the time I was able to remember to now, sex has been a concept I can remember or like, remember thinking about. Should it be everything? Should it be, like, some borderline obsessive thing that it's always talked about or always thought of? No. But when talks need to be had, talk should be had. And they can't be had if you don't produce a safe and, like, comfortable place that your child can come and be vulnerable about these things, you know? And, like, come and go, we listen and we don't judge. Like, I don't know many people that experience relationships like that with their parents until, like, years down the road, and it's still like on a weird, like, ha ha he he type of thing. It's not like a real, like, hey, I'm kind of lost here and I want to talk to you. Are there people way more educated than your dad maybe or your mom? Yeah. And I strongly agree that, like, the internet's a scary place, but it is also full of, like, real knowledge. Like, and I'm not talking about Wikipedia, motherfucker. I'm talking about, I'm kind of not even talking about, like, WebMD. I'm talking about, like, porn is fucking, like, that. I mean, yeah, porn is fucking. No, but, like, porn is, like, I don't even want to say shout out to Billie Eilish. It is a male fantasy, but like porn is, it is, it is a concept that is lost in what it is now. I think porn should be like you remember those fucking videos they used to play to you in sex ed when it was like, this is how you put a condom on. It was like the lady with like eye bags rolling it down with her wrinkly fingers over the banana. You know, like I bet you if you had like Megan Fox telling you how to put a condom on, you're paying the fuck attention. You know what I mean? I bet you if you had fucking what's his name? Jacob Elordi telling you how to properly use a tampon, you might be paying the fuck attention. You know what I'm saying? Sex sells. Period. Every fucking time. Why not use that to the advantage of bettering the human race? Like, you know it sells. You know it, and you like actively make a decision to be scared to talk about it with like the upcoming generations. Like, fuck that. Like, yes, some topics are hard to get into with young kids because it's like it's just an answer that brings more questions every time. Does that mean you shouldn't do it? You know what I mean? And am I just a guy sitting on a couch talking to the fucking open air hoping someone will hear me? Yes. Does that make me any less true or any less relatable in what I'm saying? Any less honorable in my point I'm trying to get across? I am a victim. I am working on this here without choosing quality over quantity. I am a victim. And I was also manipulated to believe to a certain degree that, like, you know, sexual misconduct was okay. And it wasn't. It never is, never will be. I said this earlier, and I stand by it. A consenting yes is not the word yes. It is an enthusiastic, full body yes. And in my opinion, if you aren't getting that from your partner, then the conversation needs to be had. Like, some people aren't super enthusiastic. That's not what I'm saying. Like, yes, fuck me. That's not what I mean. But I'm saying, like, consent should be like, it shouldn't be, yeah, I guess so. I guess we can do that. Like, it should be jumping on you like, yes, take me now. You know what I mean? Like, ravage me. Like, a excited and clearly, like, audible yes. You know what I mean? Not like a, yeah, I guess so. Like, you don't want to, I guess so. You know what I mean? Like, that hurts about as much as the big ones hurt. That line is a killer right there. I just think that it's so important to, like, be educated about these things. Like, these are things I had to come to a point of understanding about on my own. Which, yes, a lot of learning what you like and dislike and what you wish to see more of and less of in your sex life is that. Just sitting with yourself and having that weird conversation in your head. But the other part of that is, like, making sure, like, your elders, making sure from the jump you have a solid foundation of what this is. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, guys. I gotta get comfy again. It just how it goes. Oh, I'd love a cigar right now because I feel like I'm getting juicy with it. But detrimental if, like, the entire world is not scared necessarily in the way of ooh, but scared in the way of, like, shame and, like, awkward disgust. Like, how are we ever supposed to get to a point of, like, more clear understanding, more rational, like, thoughts being had about, like, what sex is? Like, if you can never have that conversation, how is anything ever supposed to change? You know what I mean? Like, am I saying my parents were bad parents? No. And that's not, in my opinion, I don't think that is something that is a part of this conversation. I don't think educating your child or lack of educating your child about sex, not in like what you see morally fit to, but like properly educating them, like I don't know. It's just so much stuff. When you think about sex, think about the fucking categories on Pornhub. That stuff is real. Like, it may seem taboo, it may seem a little out there to some people, but other people like it and it tickles their fancy. Like, there are hundreds of thousands of fucking categories of like kinks and things people enjoy to do to each other, things people like, things people don't like liking, but they like it anyway, like sick freaks. And it's okay, because those are the two ends of the spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, you got like asexual folks and people that are very, very conservative, you know, the missionary mommies and no, that's perfect. The missionary mommies. And then there's like on the other side of the spectrum, there are like the freaks and weirdos, you know. Tie me to a bed and pour wax all over me. I love it. Like, shove a gerbil in my butt. Shout out to Slim Shady. But like, there should be an active like spectrum. Like, there's freaks and weirdos and missionary mommies. Fucking title, maybe. Patreon. That being said, though, when you can have an open conversation about sex, no matter what end of the spectrum you're on, why would that not help that other person you're having that conversation with gauge where they're at on the spectrum? Or help you better gauge where you're at on the spectrum? Like, it shouldn't be such a scary topic. It just shouldn't be. And I think it's so important to me because it is a scary topic. Like, I don't know. I like what I like. I'm not prominent to any one gender, so to speak. If we vibe, we vibe. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's a recent revelation. Like, that is something I had to come to terms with slowly on my own, because there was never the proper like speech. Like, I didn't know the words existed because they were never spoken to me. And like, maybe this is the problem, the disconnect between those two sides of the spectrum, you know, the freaks and weirdos. And by no means is that a derogatory term. Like, be a freak and live it, love it, laugh about it. Be a freak, be a weirdo, and do it to the fullest of your heart's content. Like, fill your heart to the fucking brim with butt plugs and baby oil. Diddy that shit up. To each is their own. You know? If you're on the other side of that and you plan once a month to have sex with your husband, or the idea of sex alone kind of disgusts you, and you just like being, you know, loving with people without it having to go to that nasty place, quote unquote. Like, wherever you find yourself on that spectrum, you should still be able to sit with someone in a time of need, younger, older, and be able to get into these things that they're struggling with, because you would want that if you were struggling with it, you know? And yes, there are therapists out there, but I think that shit's a fucking scam. No offense to therapists. I know there's like psychologists that like literally study like how people are the way they are, but like, you're telling me I have to pay you to be my friend? That's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And yes, some people don't have friends. Make some. Don't waste your money. Make some. Ask somebody to go grab some motherfucking coffee. You need to talk about some butt stuff. If there's no air in the room, to have the conversation, no matter where you're at on the spectrum. How is the world ever supposed to become more comfortable with one another? Like, wherever you are in a room, maybe wherever you are in a room full of people, I promise you, there's someone in there that does butt stuff. There's someone in there that likes getting tied down. There's someone in there that is grossed out by all of it. There's someone in there that hears the word vagina and they go, you know? Everyone is allowed to feel what they want to feel. But, like, I feel like what sex is and what people talk about sex like it is are two completely different things. Like, I think there's a genuine disconnect between the generations that came before porn really busted out, pun intended, and then there's the generation, like, there's the before and the after. Once again, there's the befores and the afters. The before generations of porn, like, they're used to, like, sticky magazines and shitty VHS tapes, you know what I mean? Playboy fucking playing cards with tits on them. Like, that's what they grew up getting their fix off of, or a fucking Polaroid from their girlfriend in Wisconsin, you know? That was that 70s show reference. So that's that before generation, and then there's us, the after generations that, like, I could literally go on Twitter right now and probably see boobs in, like, less than 5 scrolls of like posts. So it's just so widely available, you know? And there's just, like, I think this disconnect because there was, like, a lot more of a like, taboo culture, or maybe I'm using the wrong word there, but I feel like I know what I mean. Like, when I say taboo, it's like kind of a, like, something people don't talk about, like, publicly. It's kind of a, like, we can talk about that, but let's talk about that later, you know? Like, that's what I mean when I say taboo. Maybe that's not what it means, but I don't want to second guess myself, so I'm just going to keep using it as I have been. But yeah, and, like, I think it's so sad that the world is, like, so, like, ahead of the curve in some places of like, growth, you know? Technology, we're kicking some fucking ass. We're kind of doing what we were worried about, you know, not happening in Back to the Future, you know? Like I said in the last episode today with Auntie, like, flying cars and, you know, motherfuckers planning, like, trips to Mars and shit, you know, like, billionaires deciding, fuck it, I'll go to space. Why not? You know, like, that is the world we live in now. But you're telling me that world I just spoke of exists, and at the same time, a world where people are scared to talk about the very act that makes us. People are scared to talk about it outside of, like, the surface level shit you will say about it. Like, maybe I need to deeply talk about sex. Maybe I have a sexual trauma that I've been trying to fill in myself with sex for so long, and all I needed to really do was, like, sit down and, like, get the poison out and turn that poison into words, not goop creaming out of me. You feel me? No, not my goop. No. Yeah, it's just like, people can only educate based on their knowledge and their curriculum at hand, you know? Teachers, parents, just random folks, doctors. They can only educate down to what they know. So if you are to a point where you're like, damn, I kind of don't really know much, but I want to know more, and I'm scared to talk to people about this because, like, maybe I am gay. Maybe I do like feet. Maybe I really, really like CPs. You know? I feel like this is going to be a controversial episode, honestly. I talked about a lot of things today, but sex and the misconceptions and fear surrounding sex to ignorant people, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just simply mean it as what it is, ignorant. You do not know. Can't blame you for being ignorant until I can, or until we can. You know what I mean? Like at a certain age is like a young adult or a young teen or a child. Like obviously it's like you're allowed to plead ignorance, but like I don't really feel like as an adult you're allowed that. Like telling me you had 18 years to read a fucking book and you didn't do it? What the fuck? Get your shit together. I don't know. And like in the world we live in today, once again, you're telling me you've been alive for 18 fucking years and you never decided to fucking type PORN into the fucking search bar? Okay. Sure. That's fair, I guess. Like I said, it's a spectrum. Who am I to judge? But instead of knowing that and letting it fester into an insecurity, honestly, let me apologize. Actually, I'm going to apologize because I feel like what I just said about this hypothetical person that is ignorant to certain facets of sex, I feel like what I just said as an example felt very demeaning, and I'm sorry if it came off that way. I don't know. There's people out there that could actually be feeling that way, and as inconceivable as that may sound to somebody that has had sex in their, like, a part of their life, their entire life, for what it feels like, it's also very much like, you know, that wasn't their life. That wasn't their world. That was your world, you know? And I don't think it's fair to pick, you know? So I apologize. But that being said, a million times I'm going to say that being said. Can we get a count on that? Adult, young adult, old adult, whatever. If you're grown in this world and you feel very like insecure about your knowledge of what sex is, what sex could be for you, for your partner, for, you know, for you in a room full of people needing a conversation topic, learning what sex is fully, not just like what mom felt comfortable enough to tell you or what dad felt less awkward enough to tell you because mom didn't want to. Like, you know, read. There's books out there. And yes, there are real, I'm going to suggest them too. Like this, I'm not just going to say like, oh, there's real people out there having real sex and like it's good sex. Like, no, I'm actually serious. I've done my research. I'm very much a recovering porn addict, very much a recovering sex addict. And to voice that so vulnerably, you know, I'm going to have like better reading material than like the shitty books, you know, that porn really is, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, like you want to educate yourself about some real sex, like, and you're lacking said thought. This is just my opinion. Don't quote me. You know what I'm saying? That's the entire vibe of this show. Don't quote us. But that being almost got me. Not today. That being said, there are content creators out there that are very, very focused on putting out proper informative content. And yes, some of it may seem a little out there for some people, but I think it's very important. So that being said, I'm definitely going to shout these people out, and I'm going to list their active accounts, just because I think that there was a time in my life that I watched just the sex everybody's thinking of, some like weird casting couch situation or some like role played like scenario between two people that have never fucking met each other before, and all of it's produced by a studio that's just in it to make the fucking big bucks. Like, I grew up on that too, and it ruined me as a child. It ruined my fucking brain, like, because if sex is like a constant facet in your mind and you're presented the wrong fucking idea of what sex is, you're still spinning your wheels. You're just spinning it in the wrong fucking shit. Like, and that is why it's so important, because like, if you don't educate your kid, somebody will, motherfucker. And not in the way you may want them to be educated. Maybe you want them to be ignorant. It's never going to happen. Not in this day and age. If you want them to be ignorant, you will be ignorant to how not ignorant they are, if that makes sense. A 13-year-old with a phone will find a way. Trust and fucking believe. No Wi-Fi, no service. They will find a fucking way. So, if you're scared about the topic too, I think that's so... It's fair. It's rational. Ick. Why would I talk about like all this sex stuff with my fucking kid? You know, it ruined me as a child. I was spinning my wheels in the wrong shit, and I wish that obviously these people weren't creating said content, but I wish the content and videos and like what these people obviously make their livelihood off of, like, are doing now. It wasn't happening when I was younger, you know, when you possibly listening were a child or coming up into your sexual, you know, prowess. Like, maybe that wasn't available to you, which is fine. But like, I don't think it's never too late to teach yourself new tricks, or, you know, help show somebody a possible way to teach themselves new tricks, you know? And by new tricks, I don't mean like, ooh, if you stroke it that way, it'll feel better. No, I mean like safer sex practices mentally, and safer self-sex practices mentally. Like, people think of like masturbation as very like icky and gross, but like, no, that's a fucking bomb-ass experience. Like, to feel pleasure like you would during sex by yourself, like not having to have someone there with you, it can kind of become a little like all you think of, like sex, flashing lights again, you know? And that is like deformative. Like, that is not good. That is like a fucking downward spiral waiting to happen. But still, take it from the fucking jerk king over here. And I don't say that from like a place of like, look at me, I'm the best, blah, blah. Like, no, I don't say that from a oorah. I say that from like a place of thumbs down. Like, we should want to love on ourselves and take care of ourselves. If you don't love on yourself and love yourself, how the fuck are you supposed to expect someone else to do those things? You know what I mean? Like, also taking that time with yourself can like open windows and doors and fucking sunroofs and spotlights full of possibilities when it comes to educating yourself. Like, maybe you don't need to read a book. Maybe you don't need to watch videos. Maybe you just simply need to take some real, honest, and vulnerable time with yourself to just like, okay, I like this. I like that technique. I kind of am interested in maybe trying this with somebody. I like doing it by myself. Like, starting the conversation yourself. Not waiting for someone else to do it. Starting the conversation within yourself, with yourself. And it's like, it's less of a dialogue and more of like an exchange of just like exchange of insecurity and excitement. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, they're like, how am I trying to say this here? Like, you're enjoying what you're feeling, but at the same time, it's most likely hitting you like from a place of shame, less of insecurity, more of shame. Like, ew, why would I be doing this? Like, because you love yourself and you want yourself to know that. Like, I find it really cool to think about consciousness because, like, I feel like, you know how, I don't know if you're into it, if you're listening, but like Christianity goes to Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? I think consciousness is the same way. I think there's Robert and consciousness. I don't think it's Robert's consciousness. I think it's Robert and consciousness, you know? And like I'm just the vessel in which these like versions and personalities within me like get vectored. I'm like the control vector in which the light is sent through, if that makes sense. Like I'm what you see, what you hear, what you watch, like who you know Robert as, like that is in a that is a concept of perception in which you call reality. Like as I am is not as you see me. So that's what I'm getting at. And that being said, it's like we are sexual beings. Period. There's not a if, and, or fucking but about it. We are sexual beings, and we're lovely, like sexy sexual beings. Like God made you to make love. And sure, God made you to procreate, but like why the fuck shouldn't you find enjoyment in that? Are you just supposed to stay like the whole time? You know what I mean? Like, and yes, I get it. Like you're supposed to do that with somebody you truly love and share a bond with, and you're married under, God and matrimony and all that shit. But like the world is changing. The world is changing. Like I don't really look at marriage as like a guaranteed thing anymore. Maybe like back in the 50s and the 60s when like all you had to do was like slap her and she didn't want to leave you anymore. But like that was so flawed too. Like just because a system in place is the best system in place as of now does not mean there can't be, renovations made or like things changed in the design to make it better. Like a system can always be improved. I don't think if a system is made by human design, I do not think it is ever going to reach 100% efficiency. I think that there is always a room for an extra little 0.001%, just barely fucking there, of improvement. Even if you don't see that window of possibility, it's always there, And maybe I'm jumping topics here a lot, but like being able to conversate about sex with others is important. Being able to conversate within yourself and have that inner dialogue about what you like, dislike, want, don't want in a partner, like with multiple partners. Maybe you're polyamorous. Maybe you're just monogamous and straight, like every other normal fucking person. Once again, not normal in the sense of, like this is what is acceptable. That's not what I mean. I'm saying like in the sense of like just average, like what you're used to seeing. I don't mean that like, just normal in the sense of like that's what you should be. No, like be whatever the fuck you want to be. It's just that is the average, like just a straight missionary mommy. You feel me? But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of dancing in circles here, and I really do want to dig more into this with like other people. I think I want to maybe even lean into like properly writing about this. Maybe like properly making this like a series or like a, I don't know, just something people can come can come to as like a point of reference if they too feel themselves lacking in like a department of that topic, you know. It's just such I don't know. It's just so important, and I don't feel like I can stress that enough other than just saying it that way. It's just so important because like as the world changes, like I think there's a lot of people that have problems with like transgender people and the LGBTQAI plus community. IA plus community. Sorry guys. You know, I think there's always been a problem with change somewhere. Somebody somewhere is gonna have a problem with change, you know, and like I don't know. People talk about it as like this indoctrination of like, you know, American or just children in general. Like this generation, this soon to be grown or grow up generation. You know, my sisters, you know, and the children that will come next. Whatever generation that is. I don't know. I don't know what fucking letter we're on. You know what I'm saying though. Like that weird, I don't know, like I've tried to listen to that side of the argument and I've pulled some points I can understand and even relate to. But I just like I truly feel like maybe that community is a bit ahead of the game. Like yeah, they're making books. Like they're writing books. Yeah, they're in libraries. Like yes, they're talking about like a hypothetical struggle of a character of like, am I who I am right now, or do I wish to be someone else? Like I don't know. I'm not saying I agree with everything on either side, but I do have my agreements from both sides. I think it's like so important. I can't say it enough to have proper education. Proper education before you try to educate. It's just simple and plain as that. I'm pretty I'm not saying I'm the smartest of the bunch, but I'm pretty knowledgeable. Like I like to do my fair share of reading. I like to make sure that if someone were to come to me in a time of need, I have the tools in my arsenal to be able to speak to them in a way that is to their understanding and not something that scratches them the wrong way, you know? So I'm hip to all the fun stuff. I'm hip to all the not so fun stuff. It's just so important. We it's just time we start the conversation, and I think maybe what I was saying is maybe that community, my fucking community. Them's I've said it, and it's made some people upset. Them's my people. And I'm gonna say it because it may make people upset to hear that from me now, but them's my motherfucking people. I think I'm pretty acceptable to most, if I can find a way to be acceptable in most, if not all, social environments. I just feel that way. I feel very capable. And I think that I'm intellectually bound enough to know that like the bridge needs to start being built between this community and like the conservative older generations of people that aren't hip to it. Like I really feel like that bridge needs to start being built, and like the LGBTQIA community is very come on now, we feel it. Like Tupac said it best, knocking on the door. Like It started nice. It started like, hey, can you let me in? Like, I see y'all got a party going on in here. What's going on? Can I come in? Slam the door in your face. Okay. All right. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, I don't know what's happening. You think you could let me in? Maybe we could talk it out. I don't know. Like, are we cool? Can I come in, kick it with y'all? Door slams in the face. Boom, 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 boom. Bruh, what the hell did I do to you? Why the fuck can't I come in here? Boom. Slam the door in my face again? What the fuck? Boom, 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 boom. Let me in this motherfucker. I ain't do shit to you. The fuck? How many more times you think you can slam the door? And I am talking to the rejectors of the community. Do you have to agree with all of it? Fuck no. Do you gotta hate motherfuckers for what they feel? I don't hate you for being fucking whatever you are. Fuck you hating on me and my people. Feel me? So that's what I was hitting on. It was just simple and plain. Like, there's both sides, and they both feel they're right. And maybe they are in some ways. Maybe they aren't in the rest of those ways. So, okay, why can't we cut off the wrong parts on both of them and just all be human beings? We all bleed bread, you know what I mean? I don't know anybody that's fucking shitting fucking roses, you know what I mean? So I guess it's just that's what I'm hitting on. Like, that is what I'm hitting on so hard. Like, what gives you more of a right to exist in your perception of reality more than the next person? If that person decides to dress up in tutus and tell the fucking world about it, put on fucking puppy ears and put a tail coming out of their butt, whatever the fuck, what gives you the right to encroach their First Amendment? I don't know, man. You have a First Amendment too. Talk about it. If you have a problem with what they're saying, educate yourself. Sit down. And I'm not talking about fucking scrolling through fucking reels and shit. Sit down with an individual. That is the only way I think real conversations about these topics can start. Like, start sitting down with these individuals. And don't tiptoe around the topics. Talk about it. Like, I'm interested and confused all at the same time. And I would love if you could just kind of introduce me to what it is exactly you are. And I mean no offense by that. I'm not properly educated, and I'd like to be. Do you think I could sit down with you for a minute and maybe you could just tell me what you, or, you know, elaborate to me a little bit of what you feel is your truth? What the fuck is wrong with that? Boom. You have created the line of communication. You know what I mean? What was it? It was in Bullet Train. Every time a door closes, a window opens. And in that window is opportunity. Yes, I think that's close to what the line is. And in this window, there is opportunity. Or there's a window of opportunity. I don't know. Run the clip. You guys are presented with a monumental window of opportunity. And I am saying this to both sides, everybody listening in the fucking world right now. Gay, straight, young, old, black, white, fucking orange, fucking, like, whatever you are, whatever your religion is, whatever your ethnic, background is, whoever you are, whatever you are. If there's something you disagree with somebody on that's, like, not exactly a radical concept in the sense of, like, just, society and, like, norms, I guess. No, because that the LGBT we pushing the norms, we pushing the norms completely the fuck out the water. Once again, I hate that fucking word, normal. That's not what I mean. I mean, just average, like. But like, whoever you are, the conversation should be had, and you should properly educate yourself so you can educate the next generation. Like, no matter how old you are, maybe you hearing something from somebody that the same, is heard the same way from someone else, like, it may be interpreted differently. I think it's very important, guys. And I don't know, maybe this has kind of become the basis of conversation for this episode, but like, I love you guys. I love everyone in the world. And I think it's become really hard for me to dislike and hate people, because I realize that everyone is doing this for the first time. And yeah, people fuck it up royally sometimes. I know I have. As bad as some people in history, probably not. Because I know some historical figures were completely committed to that atrocity, and they felt it was right in their heart. But completely off the wall fucking characters aside in this world, I think it's just super. What's the word I'm trying to get out here? It's super relevant right now to put in the time where you don't understand. Because I think for the longest time it's been peace over understanding. And I think people have confused peace and silence. And yes, I just quoted Ultron. They're not the same thing. They aren't. I'm sorry, but they're not. Like, peace is like joy and happiness to all. Silence is quiet. It's the pretty fucking plain and blank difference there. It's right in the definitions. So, like, that being said, like, peace over understanding, like, if you mistake peace for silence, like, you're now choosing silence. You're choosing silence over understanding, which is ignorant, because you're choosing to let your opinions be buried because you don't know how to start the conversation with someone from a opposing community, and that turns into more things you bottle and kind of just say when you like feel angry and you want to be mad at something in the world. Like, it's not healthy. Yes, are there things you disagree with? Sure. Do you have to disagree so angrily? Like, I really don't feel like there's anybody in the world, like, or not majority of the masses, a part of the LGBT community, and majority of the masses that are, out here carving out a bit of change in what people would call, just norms. What people would call that, we're blowing the fucking walls off that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's scary. Like, you gotta think about it, guys. If you were to attack the land of somebody that has owned these grounds and tried to, like, kind of claim your chunk of that land, white colonist style, I mean, owners of said land, or people that reside on said land, nobody can own a topic. Nobody can own, like, a basis of, like, opinion. You know what I mean? Everybody's allowed to have them. So, like, if you were to encroach on someone's opinions, someone's beliefs, someone's morals, and, like, the systems they've based their entirety of self around, and you come in so bright and loud as we are, which is okay. I don't think there's a problem with that. But it's like, bright lights and, sensitive people, it's going to have a probably adverse effect for some people. They're going to reject it. They're going to be confused, because people reject what they don't understand, simply put. So if we could get to a point where everybody understands, I feel like we would be rejecting each other a lot less. And I don't mean in the sense of like I love you or I don't love you. I mean in the sense of like I accept you, and it may not be for me, but I understand you. That's peace. Why the fuck do you have to have one over the other? Like why can't the equation be peace plus understanding? Like, I think in some situations, sure, choosing peace over trying to understand something that has no real logic to it, it's a waste of time. But we're talking about something very logical, very relevant, and promising for my next book idea. But like that is so like just feels like it needs to just I'm losing it, but I'm trying to get it back. I keep losing it and trying to get it back every few minutes. It's just so much to keep up with. I don't have another person to bounce off. I'm bouncing it straight off of you bitches, and it's hitting me right in the fucking forehead. But like, you come in so bright and so shining, as you should, because you love yourself and you are acceptant of who you are, which is also something a lot of people haven't like truly like gotten to a point of. Like some people live 30, 40, 50, 60 years going, I kind of fucking hate you, or just feeling like meh, like you're less conscious and you're more just like alive and breathing. You know what I mean? Like I seriously think a lot of people, older people especially, have spent a lot of their time just going through life, just kind of existing. You know what I mean? Not like sitting down and have those acid space out conversations of like, well, fuck, am I real? You know what I mean? Is this who I am supposed to be? Maybe not. Like I've heard people say that like transgenders and people of the community on the newer side of the community are like delusional or sick or need help, and I agree. Not that they are delusional, not that they are sick, but that they need help, and not help in the sense that you assholes are probably rooting. Oh yeah, you're right, man. They need help. Fuck them. Like no. Help in the sense that like speak up. Like it'd be like if aliens came and started like living here with us, or like Avatar. Avatar's a great fucking example. Think of us as the Na'vi, or no, let me redo that. Think of like societal norms, like straight missionary mommies, just the low end of the spectrum, that side. That side of the spectrum, imagine that being the Na'vi, the inhabitants of this world of sex we speak of, like publicly, world of sex we speak of. And then all of a sudden, like, these people that you've never heard of or seen or like even can acknowledge exist, fucking sky people, as the Na'vi call them in Avatar, as I'm trying to create a metaphor about, like, call them the sky people. Like, these fucking people came from the sky. Like, they didn't know about other planets and shit. Like, what the fuck do you mean you came from light years away? You came from what away? Huh? Like, it shocked them. And that was the basically as far as I was trying to go with that analogy, because after that, in the plot part of the movie, it's pretty much like, I'm pretty sure human beings are trying to like wipe out the Avatar species so that they can farm their planet for resources. That's not that's not in any way, shape, or form what I am elaborating to this analogy as. I'm saying that it's not new in the sense of yesterday, but it's new in the sense of like the last 75, maybe a little earlier than that, 75 to 100 years. This community has been growing and growing and growing silently. Knocking on the door, like I said. Knocking on the door. Getting rejected. Knocking on the door. Getting rejected. Growing silently over these past, 75 to 100 years. And as that group of people has grown, I feel like we've all grown very tired of the idea that, like, I don't know, that the people outside of this community are what is normal. There may come a point in time where there are more people in the community than there are out of it. Shit, I mean, what's wrong with that? Like, so what? You like chicks with dicks? Go off, king. You know what I mean? Okay. You like looking at your best friend's boobs? Go off, queen. Like, talk about it. Get to a point of being able to talk about it. Because if you're sitting there and you just sit there like this forever, just like, this isn't right. This isn't okay. Am I supposed to feel this way? Am I supposed to think this stuff? How come I never heard anyone else think about this stuff? Like, people go a lot longer than they are willing to say. Like, that wasn't just a little 12-year-old I was mimicking. Like, there's fucking grown ass adults out here in the world feeling that way, and it shouldn't feel so taboo. It just should not. It is sad, and we have to be the change we wish to see in the world. I truly believe that, and that was the point and topic I wanted to talk about today with you guys: sex, and how important it is that we start furthering the education and earlier education and finding a healthier and safe, inclusive way to start incorporating the education of sex and all facets of what sex is, not what you wish for your kid to have certain type of sex. They're going to become whoever the fuck they want to become. That's not for you to decide. That is up to them. But you need to give them the proper tools to articulate, this is who I decide to be. If you're only presenting them with two flavors of, I'm making sure I'm sticking to what I want to say here. If you're only presenting vanilla ice cream and you go, this is the only type of ice cream there ever is, do you know how fucking pissed they're going to be one day when they come to think, like, out in the fucking real world, not in this make-believe fucking vanilla fantasy land you created, that there's other fucking flavors? Do you know how fucking resentful that's going to make a person? Because, like, I don't know. It's so hard to talk about this without fucking going into something that, like, it might get me canceled. Like, I don't know. It's so important, guys. It's just so important. And, like, you want your kid to only like vanilla because you only like vanilla, or you think that vanilla is the only flavor anyone should ever try. That is not your fucking choice to make. This person is an individual, and they should be allowed to become their individual self as they grow and make mistakes and decide, no, maybe that's not who I am. But I tried it, and I know it for sure now. Like, Matthew McConaughey said it best, and I quoted him in episode 3 the best. When you do something, you don't do it halfway. You don't do it 50%. You give it your all. You give it 110, because then you can look back on it at the end of the day when you're laying down in your bed, and you can go, I tried that. I gave it my all. It wasn't for me. Simple and plain. Like, it's just, come on. It needs to be talked about. Now, you can talk about it and be like, I don't agree with these things. I don't think these things are anything I believe in personally. But you should be allowed the opportunity to think for yourself. Like, are we raising drones for the next generation, or are we raising free thinkers? It starts in the home. It doesn't start at school. It doesn't start outside. It shouldn't start on the internet. It should start in the home, surrounded by the people that created you, or surrounded by the people that love you. I strongly suggest it, guys. I strongly suggest being able to get to that point with people. I am working on getting to that point with people. It's not easy, and I am not saying this because it is easy. I'm saying it because it's important. And more often than not, things that are important to do are never easy to do. But I think we have waited long enough, and I think the powers that be in the world, they can take a fucking backseat. I think it's time that we as a people, and I do not mean whites or blacks or Americans or anything like that. I think it is time we as a human race, as a people, a united people, it is time to properly start talking about sex with the upcoming generations and the generations already fucking here. Like, people deserve to be heard, and that is one of the most misheard and unlistened to topics in the fucking universe. Get over it. Get over your corny ass little insecurities and talk about the shit. You don't have to agree with it, but you gotta hear them out. Simple and plain. And that does not go for the dog diddler and the ditties and the pedos out there. That does not go for them at all. Gumbalaya or whatever the fuck her name was, she's on some fuck shit, and I genuinely hope she enjoys the fucking 35 years they sentenced her ass to. I will finish that. I'll tie that up quickly. The girl ended up bailing out after they accumulated enough to arrest her, and they arrested her on March 21st of 2025 or 2026, and then from there she posted bail, and then it went to trial, and from there they were able to, I guess, get into her phone, and they found more videos of her doing these devious sexual acts with her animals, and they sentenced her to 2 felony charges, or they charged her with 2 felony counts, one of like sexual misconduct, and then or something like that, and another one of something along the lines of having sex with an animal, or like improper care and mishandling of an animal, something like that. 2 felony crimes, and the judge, and I'm assuming the jury, decided she was guilty, and she pleaded non-guilty like a fucking motherfucker. And I'm like, bitch, her entirety of this was in the video. I'm like, what the fuck? You think they just don't know what noses look like, bitch? You know? I don't know. But a court of law decided to sentence her to 35 years, I believe. Maybe a little longer. Probably should have deserved more. She had 4 fucking dogs, guys. That one video was not the start of it. She made $500 off that one video. Imagine how many more she could have made just doing little things, not even in-depth stuff. And then the in-depth stuff, like real sex stuff, ooh, it's disgusting. Absolutely atrocious. But yeah, she's rotting in her cell, as she should be. I don't wish prison time on anybody, but do the crime, do the time, man. But it is a good ending. The 3 dogs she owned, I believe the original dog from the first video had passed or was not in her life anymore. The 3 original dogs, as part of her sentencing, she had to give her dogs to her mother and like put in paper, like on paper, sign an agreement or some shit. Like it was a clause in her probation or some shit that she is not allowed to have contact with these animals. So the good guys win. Fucking A. The good guys win today. That is a fucking win in my book. I'll take them where I can get them, you know? That's what I think that might become, hopefully, a little segment. Good versus bad. Bad guys might have won today, boys. Not on this one, though. Good rings true today. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure I kind of tied up all my bits and pieces here. I really think I did. This was a very important episode. I didn't plan on starting it like this or going into what I went into for the whole entirety of the episode, but I don't know. I think watching Sex Ed recently, shout out to a pretty great show minus the last 2 episodes. I think it really kind of shines some light on some things within myself and like my ignorance and education around sex. And I don't know, after my little long drug out chat with Shy today, I don't know, I've just really been thinking about it, and I think it is very, very important, guys. So much more important than like the stupid things we're talking about. Like, I hate to say it, but I think this is something that could be like a turning point for a generation. And it needs to start yesterday. It does. But nonetheless, guys, I really, really appreciate you for joining me on SOLO-SODE number 2. I'm sure the title will be something. I really appreciate you guys. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you checking out Stand Up Into the Podcast. Summer of Pod, baby. We doing what we can. I am genuinely in love with what I'm doing right now. I got a bunch of episodes booked in July in Georgia with a lot of people. I got Mile from Meadow booked. I got 2 recording artists booked. I got a couple of the homies booked. It's going to be a good time. Pod Summer. Come on, baby. Pod Summer. It is just so good to be here with you guys, by myself or with somebody else. So thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Join the Patreon. It is only $5 a month, guys. $5. And it's not going to stay that way forever. So get it while you can, because, you know, once you're in, you're grandfathered in, and other people just kind of got to get fucked about it. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us today. And, yeah, check us out everywhere. Stand Up In It Pod, Stand Up In It Pod, Stand Up In It Pod, Patreon, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Stand Up In It Podcast, Stand Up In It Pod, Stand Up In It Pod, Stand Up In It Pod. Should be like the first fucking thing you see on YouTube. So check us out. And if you also haven't already, check out my music on check out my Instagram account at _nomadic. Should be right here under me. I don't know why I put it up here. I know it's gonna be down here. Yeah, check me out. I'm definitely working on some musics. And I'm working on it, and I plan on putting out at least 2 projects this year. full. So that's where we're heading. Subscribe in the meantime to my music YouTube, link in bio on my page. And yeah, subscribe to every fucking thing. Follow, like, comment, say what's up. Join the Patreon. We have a great fucking time over there. And yeah. Thank you for joining me today on SOLO-SODE number 2. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Oh, and I cannot forget. Happy 4th of July to all you guys. I hope you're all enjoying it. Throwing big exploding balls of powder up in the sky and watching them make pretty colors and eating a bunch of blue and red food coloring and shit. I hope y'all are eating it up. I hope everybody is enjoying their holiday and America's birthday. Happy birthday, America. 250, guys. That is a fucking majorly big deal. That being said, I don't know how big of an impact this chat has made. I don't know how big of an impact it is gonna make, but I've hit some really important topics here, guys, and I really hope if you're watching, you heard me and you take into account what I said. It's very important. I want to see a better world before I die, and this is something that needs to happen for that to be so, I think. Not my perfect world, but a better one. So, yeah. Catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces. Happy 4th. Happy 4th. Happy 4th. Oh! Is that really what it's come down to, guys? We're out here molesting our fucking pets for $500? What the fuck is even that? Like, it irks my fucking soul. Like, the Crazies. Like, I too have been called the Crazies. And it doesn't make me want to be anything other than more of the Crazies. You feel me? And this isn't a Monday type, like I hate Mondays type of crazy. No, this is the Crazies, where your fucking teeth vibrate and you can feel your nails growing and like every molecule in your body wants to explode and do a somersault and fucking cry all at the same time. It feels like the world is ending and every person on the fucking planet is screaming. There is no fucking way that we're on the moon and people are still fucking animals? Like, what? I don't know. And I swear to God, if somebody comes out and goes, that's just a sexuality preference. No, you're sick. You're burning, actually. You're burning. And then I lost the whole fucking thing. Is that not crazy? It's so much easier to hold conversation when it's not you having to kind of, remember what string you were kind of trying to pull out of that fucking tapestry of life. That might be another fucking golden line for the show. I'm footing the fucking bill here. I loved that SOLO-SODE clip. Those are the two ends of the spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, you got like asexual folks and people that are very, very conservative. The missionary mommies and the. No, that's perfect. The missionary mommies. And then there's like on the other side of the spectrum, there are like the freaks and weirdos. Tie me to a bed and pour wax all over me. I love it. Like shove a gerbil in my butt. Shout out to Slim Shady. But like there should be an active like spectrum. Like there's freaks and weirdos and missionary mommies. Fucking title, maybe. Patreon. Like, you're telling me I have to pay you to be my friend? That's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And yes, some people don't have friends. Make some. Don't waste your money. Make some. ask somebody to go grab some motherfucking coffee. You know, talk about some butt stuff. Maybe I have a sexual trauma that I've been trying to fill in myself with sex for so long, and all I needed to really do was like sit down and like get the poison out and turn that poison into words, not goop creaming out of me. You feel me? No, not my goop. No. At a certain age, as like a young adult or a young teen or a child, like obviously it's like you're allowed to plead ignorance, but like I don't really feel like as an adult you're allowed that. Like telling me you had 18 years to read a fucking book and you didn't do it? What the fuck? Get your shit together. Whoever you are, whatever you are. If there's something you disagree with somebody on that's like not exactly a radical concept in the sense of like just, you know, society and like norms, I guess. No, because that the LGBT we pushing the norms, ho. We pushing the norms completely the fuck out the water. Like, so what? You like chicks with dicks? Go off, king. You know what I mean? Okay. You like looking at your best friend's boobs? Go off, queen. Like, talk about it.